First of all, I believe in the Constitution and individual rights. I won't say more than anybody in here, but it's pretty high on my list, okay? But unfortunately, many laws are passed because a very few people cannot follow socially acceptable behavior or abide by the rules. Now, some examples here in our own city, because people seem to think they can run red lights at will, the council decided to put in red light cameras. At how many intersections now? 9. Okay. And the other night, at the banquet, you told us how many tickets we'd written. How many? Would you tell us again? 4,000 tickets since when? Less than a year. So that's 4,000 tickets running red lights. Okay. So that is something that we felt like we had to do. You know, and those people, even those people, if they get videoed and pictured and all that stuff, they still have the right to come. I know the chief has a police officer at the library one night a week just to hear appeals, and he'll sit there and they'll go over the video and they'll talk about it, and if they, you know, see before they have to pay the ticket. So, but anyway, that's one example. Another one, we passed an ordinance towing uninsured vehicles. If we stop somebody for speeding or whatever and they don't have insurance, we can, if we so desire, tow that vehicle. We passed that because, to be honest with you, most of the council members were sick and tired of people causing wrecks or being involved in a wreck, causing a wreck, and not having insurance to pay for the other person's car. Was that right or wrong? You know, so we passed that. But even there, we give our police officers the ability to be fair and just. He could go through the procedure, but I know they call the insurance companies. I think they all carry a card with the phone numbers of every major insurance company around. They'll call them. They'll try to find out if they've got insurance, if they don't have proof. And they're not going to leave a pregnant woman with 3 kids out there on the freeway, obviously, without a car. They'll see that they get home. They'll do whatever. But there's times we have to tow a couldn't Now, these are things that, are they infringing on rights or that? But it's laws that we had to pass because some people couldn't abide by the normal rules. Okay. Some people would say that, and I'm going to try to take both sides on some of this, HEB's job, it's HEBISD's job to take care of the truancy problems, not the city's job. Well, from what I've been told, and correct me on this, we have put no additional officers out there on the street to enforce this. We're not spending any more time on that. It's just another something that they look at. I mean, they're aware of, just like they would be a speeder going down the street or a tail light out or anything. If they see a kid walking around during school hours, it's just something that they're aware of. You know, it's another set of eyes out there, just available. Okay. Some people would say that maybe the city, because we're doing HEBISD's job, it's the taxpayers are having, our city is having to pay for it. Well, I talked about that we're not spending any more money, but my question is this: if without the threat of it, you know, just the threat of that ordinance and the fines, possible fines, and the prompt action, the possibility of prompt action by the police department, the school, to reduce their truancy, they would have to hire more people, which would increase their cost, and would probably pass those on to taxpayers and increase the taxes. They might be able to save the money somewhere else and not increase taxes, but I'm guessing that their cost would go up to get the same level of enforcement that just the threat of the ordinance has there. So I would contend that it would be possible that the individual, see, you pay for city taxes here, you pay for school taxes here, but you're paying for both of them. So if they, from a pragmatic standpoint, it might be better off having our set of eyes out there and the threat rather than paying 2 or 3 or 4 more truancy officers. Possibility now. Okay. Crime rate. Yeah, I'm not convinced that it reduces crime rate. I have no idea. I don't know if Chief has any good numbers on that or not. But I do know that one time, about a long time ago, probably 25 years ago, my house was broken into in the middle of the day. They got home, saw the police department, called it. They came out and they said they know who did it, but they can't prove it. That was a kid that's supposed to be in school. You know, whether that's, and I'll be honest, that does not influence me right now, but I'm just saying, but you know, if he'd have been in school, then maybe my house wouldn't have gotten broken into and had stuff stolen. But I'm convinced for the kids' good, if they stay in school, then they'll be less apt to become, if they get that high school education, get a degree or diploma, then we have less trouble out of them when they're adults. And there's probably proof on that. And I don't know the numbers, but there's probably proof on that. Because, well, I know for a fact, and I quoted this at a previous meeting, my oldest daughter, when she was back in the 6th, 7th grade, I don't remember, she went to a field trip to Tarrant County jail and toured the jail. There's all these prisoners, and they told her, and at that point in time, the average age or the average education level of an inmate, if you want to call them that, was I think 6th or 7th grade. It was very low. I could be wrong on that, but it was very low. I'll put it that way. So, you know, it just seems to make sense that if kids are in school and get a high school diploma, we'll probably have less trouble out of them as adults. And they'll be less likely to be criminals as adults because they'll be able to get a good job, etc., and go about their life without having to steal stuff. You've heard the HEB ISD stats. I don't know how much of that is the 8,000 or 9,000 reduction. I don't know how much of that is due to this or not. I have no idea. I'm trying to cover both sides of this, but somebody said tonight that here all kids are having to suffer for the acts of one. You know, one person or one or two, or just a handful of truancies. Now everybody's having them. Well, I know I'm probably one of the oldest guys in the room, and when I was going to school, things were different. But I'll never forget one night on a basketball trip in junior high. I played basketball back in junior high and high school. And on the way back from an out-of-town trip, somebody on the back of the bus was whistling, one of the players. And it was just a high-pitched thing. It was kind of nerve-wracking to the bus driver. The bus driver said, "Coach, can you ask him to quiet down?" So he stood up, stopped the whistling, y'all can talk and all that. Well, the guy kept it up. He asked him, and it was dark, you know, you're way back in the back of the dark there of a school bus. So finally, when we got back to the field house or the gym, Coach said, "Okay, everybody in here." Said, "Who was whistling that wouldn't stop?" And of course, nobody said anything. He said, "Okay, everybody line up." So everybody lined up, bent over, grabbed their ankles. We all got a couple of licks. Everybody. That's just the way it goes. We all got punished for the acts of one. So that happens probably fairly frequently. A teacher will come back. A teacher will be called out of the room for a minute. She comes back in. One or two people are talking. She penalizes the whole class. Has them write 100 times, "I won't talk while the teacher's gone," or something. So anyway, things do happen. That being said, these are comments that I thought of the last few days, and I have all the respect in the world for homeschooling. In fact, in about a week, a family that lived next door to me that homeschooled their 3 kids, just turned out great kids, but they moved away 10 years ago. We still kept in touch. She's getting married. The oldest one's getting married. We've been invited to the wedding, and I'll be going to the wedding and marrying just a super guy. So, you know, I have all the respect, but right now I would have to say that at this point in time, until we get a little better data and I get to talk to the city attorney again, you know, I want to talk to him some more. I'd have to say I'd have to vote to keep the ordinance as it is for right now. In the future, I'm willing to take a look at it. I don't mind telling you, I will always change my mind if I think it's proper. But anyway, so those are my comments. Anybody else want to speak?